Yesterday I was thinking, okay, tomorrow's memory keeping Monday. Oh, wait, it's the first of the month, which means take a look at the pictures from January. And this time it's more than 5 photos, it's like 5 pages. And it's crazy. It's always something. So rather than seeing one page at a time, it's showing a 2-page spread. And this is not necessarily how it would be. So the first one is my grandson and my oldest grandson. And these are pictures just related to some of the things he did last month. So the top 2 pictures, he decided to dress himself. He picked out what he wanted to wear. So he was real proud of his fit. Oh, so I might be able to make them larger. And then Gia's school is opening up. Right. So one day he came over and we dealt with magnetism. So I had this huge magnet and, just playing with a lot of different stuff and putting them into 2 different stacks to see, or piles to see which ones were magnetic and which ones were not. And then after that, having him kind of guess. So which, do you think this is going to stick or not? And so that's how we were beginning to explore magnetism. And then we looked at some reading where he had to find the letter that made that sound. What makes the sound of And they showed me, okay, we put it down. And it wasn't until after we got down that I wrote them on there. We also worked with shapes. He saw this thing that I have. It's actually a puzzle sorter. So when you're doing puzzles and you can sort the shapes according to colors or all your end pieces, that kind of thing. And then I just had some of those small shapes there, and he worked with that. And I don't know if you can tell, but on his own, he saw that these could make the hexagon. And then this is just something I noticed. There were some staples that were on my trunk. And, he was kind of doing some stuff with them, moving them around. And after he left and I looked at it that night, he had put them in order. And I was like, oh, okay. So we have the fine motor skills really working here. It reminded me of Anthony when he was, that age and lining up stuff around. And Antonio did it too. Very specific about how they line things up across the floor. So then this next page is, wait, what will this do? Maybe this exit. I don't want to exit. Okay. This next page is baby grandson so far, and solid foods is what he's working on. That and flipping and rolling, but I think that's going to be more a February thing. So, just his many different faces as he is eating, and just looking really excited about having some solid food. Over the whole thing, and then you have to be very careful, and he drinks like that. And his mom and I talked about, we're like, oh, there's some serious backwash. And then some of their brother pictures. So I had to, it can't just be all about the grands. I had to, look at my children too. So both Geneva and Raymond had a lot of training going on in January with Young Life Wildlife. So Geneva did new staff orientation, and they went to a center a couple of hours outside of Atlanta. And then their whole office, except I think the office manager, went to one of the newer camps, and it's in Texas. And that's where our wildlife kids will be going this summer for summer camp. And so apparently they had a stop on the way. And then the last picture, sometimes sometimes women don't think about getting in the picture, or maybe it's the photographer in the family taking all the pictures but not in any, and so I'm not necessarily in all of these, but it just some of the stuff that went on. So we know about the snow or the ice that lasted, enough for those around education, really several other industries to not be working. My oldest son, who's a teacher at Hutch, and then Geneva and Raymond work with middle school kids at school. And so the in-person part, it kind of halted. There were still some things that they could do virtually and working together, that kind of thing. And some of those pictures will be in the February shots, but it just a lot of family time. So that was really cool. Going to Hot Works, working out. I was doing a service project, and I was talking to someone, and they were like, well, yeah, because Reverend Magruder. And I'm like, excuse me, Reverend who? Because that's my maiden name. And so she described what he was wearing. And so I went I saw him, and I was like, oh, so I understand your name is David Magruder. And he said, yes. I said, okay, I'm Diana Magruder Harper. And he's like, cousin, so that was really cool to meet him. And then these fingers here, I had been going over to Raymond and Jalen's on Sunday evenings, and we'd watch The Chosen together. And one day I took my guitar over there with me so he could give me, some starter lessons or whatever. And he taught me 2 chords, and I haven't practiced them, so I'll need to do that. But he did show me how to use a tuner on my guitar, because I thought you had to wait for the light to change color. And no, I had just changed all the strings to totally different notes. So he fixed that. Up at the top here, this is a suitcase. My husband and I, from time to time, we do these quick excursions where, we tell the kids, we'll see you tomorrow. And I don't remember where we went, but I do know that I was packed like 2 or 3 days ahead of time. And then one of the places that I like to recharge is King Spa. So that's why it's picture there. And some things that you do you may not take pictures during that time. Sometimes you can, and if I had wanted to, perhaps I could have gotten the logo and put the logo here, but I work with a discipleship ministry called the Great Banquet, and our branch is called the Oak Cliff Great Banquet. We're the only, to my knowledge, we're the only great banquet in Texas. There are other 3-day ministries such as Walk to Emmaus and Cursillo, and several others, and some also for young people. And so our 3-day prayer retreats are in March. So the first week in March for the men, and the third weekend in March for the women. But we started our team meetings in preparation for that. So that's something else that went on in January. And so if you picked, some of your top photos for January, what would be the stories that went with them? And feel free to share them